greenside chipping, what you want to try to do is to simplify it as much as you can, because it can get very complicated if you allow it to get complicated. Okay? The data from TPI, the Titleist Performance Institute, studied since 2003 basically, shows that the best chippers and pitchers of the ball in the world fall into two basic categories, or two buckets, if you will. The first bucket, and these aren't necessarily in order of one's better than the other. The first bucket is where the player uses a lot of body. Feet move, knees move, shoulders move, but the elbows and the hands don't really do anything. It's kind of an exaggerated putting stroke with a hip turn. The second bucket is where the player will keep one shoulder very, very still, either one, and there's a lot of arms and hands and elbow movement. What they found was interesting was the best chippers in terms of proximity used one or the other. As you went further and further, the proximity increased. As the distances to the hole increased, you found the players used both. So what that says is you are either one or the other. They just don't play nice together. And that would make sense. If my goal with this shot right here is to set it up for a certain height and a certain trajectory, my goal is to come right back to that exact place. Does that make sense? Okay? That's the goal in chipping. The goal is whatever I set up, this would be a low one, that would be a medium one, that would be a high one. My goal is to come right back to that exact spot that I set up at address. Well, it makes sense that if I just go like this and like this, that's fairly easy to do. Very simple, okay? It also makes sense that if I keep my left shoulder, let's say, really still, that would be very easy to do. Or my right shoulder very still. That would be very easy to do. But it also makes sense that if I get all this stuff moving around, things get immensely complicated like that. Because I've got to figure out how to get all this to return back to that spot in a very short swing, in a very short period of time, and it's hard. That's very hard. Not saying that there aren't players who do it, just saying that the data shows one or the other. Your job is to decide which one of those patterns you fall into and use that pattern for all of your greenside chipping shots. Make sense? Mm-hmm. One doesn't work better than the other. There's no evidence that shows that, okay, more people use full body and less people, there's no data about that. The data only shows that one works just as well as the other depending on the person. And you're going to be able to know fairly quickly which one you like better. It'll almost be instinctive. Your brain will go, yep, that's the one I want. Okay? So we call it full body, okay, which implies there's no arms and hands. It's as if the club is just kind of stuck out of my belly button here and I'm just turning back and forth. It's one of the reasons I have this long club here. You can see if I were to attach this underneath my left arm and use full body, you see how that would...
Do people actually use
There's really no arms and hands here. Mm-hmm. If I was strong enough, I would just hold it like that and just turn. Okay? No arms and hands at all.
Do people use that long club for chipping?
It's illegal. And so, or I could do this, and that would work fine too, right? So today your job, the thing I want you to get out of this today, more than anything, is I want you to understand which pattern you are. And I'm going to help you with that, okay? I use both. I use full body, and on some shots I use arms and hands only. So if I was on the back of the green here and the pin was right by the fringe, and I had to hit it delicately, I would just do that, and that would add tremendous softness to the shot. But I don't use both of them together on any shot. Make sense? Mm-hmm. No shot. Yeah. And this is a nice training aid. You can actually take a alignment rod and stick it in the grip and you can use it that way too, so it just sticks out this way. And your job is not to give yourself a broken rib. Okay? With either pattern, you're not gonna, even with arms and hands only, you're not gonna hit yourself in the ribs. It's just gonna stop right there. Make sense? Mm-hmm. We are gonna talk about distance control. I know that's an issue. Okay. We're gonna talk about distance control a little bit later. But I just want you to start putting into your computer, into the incubator, which one am I? My full body, or my arms and hands only? Which one am I? And then decide and commit yourself to learning the right techniques to hit different shots with that pattern. Is everybody with me? We all know that if you were to exercise 15 minutes a day, that your health would get better. We all take a shower in the morning, and in our cases, shave, and right? And take 20, 30 minutes to get ready for our day. Right? At night, we put on our bedclothes and we prepare to go to bed. Some by watching TV, some by reading a book, prepare to go to sleep. All those things take time. It's weird in golf how it's very difficult to get players to commit to even 15 minutes a day to improve their game. Because of this reason. It's a psychological component. Most players, this one included, believe if I understand it, I can do it. That's a massive disconnect. Your motor patterns don't care if you understand it. They just want to know what it feels like. What does it feel like to do it? They don't understand the words. So what I'm going to beg you to do is to spend at least 15 minutes a day working on your pattern. You can do it with a ping pong ball in your living room. You don't have to come outside and do it. I don't care. At least 15 minutes a day, just like you do in other activities in your life. It has an accumulative effect over time that will greatly, greatly speed up your improvement. So if you were to spend 15 minutes a day for the next 2 months working on this, think about how good you would be at the end of those 2 months, rather than understanding what I'm supposed to do, but I can't do it. Ron, I get it. I understand what you're trying to tell me to do. I just can't do it. Well, that just means you're not putting in the 15 minutes a day. It's very simple. All of us have 15 minutes a day to improve.